Okay, so I couldn't come to Motorcycle Live this year without showing you the new BMW concept F450 GS. So this is a parallel twin engine pushing out 48 brake horsepower. That's what the spec sheet says at least anyway, but I would imagine that will be tweaked slightly down to 47 just to make it A2 compliant. Looks like a really nice bit of kit, especially with these knobbly tyres on here. So this bike is naturally going to go up against the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450 and the CF Moto 450 MT. A BMW today don't really have anything in that kind of capacity range. Of course they've got the BMW 310 GS, which isn't a massive seller, and then they've got their bigger 1300 GS adventure bike, but nothing really sits in the middle. They do of course have the 800 as well, almost forgot about that one, but in terms of that kind of a lower to middleweight category, yeah, this is going to fill the void for them. Now, in terms of quality and specification, I would imagine that this would be a little bit of a step up from the CF Moto and the Royal Enfield. I'm not sure if you can see the dash from this angle. I'm really hoping you can, but just from what I can see here, it does look like a nice bit of kit. Now, in terms of the seat height on this, there's no official spec yet. It does look fairly low to me though, so I would think somewhere in the region of 820 millimeters, but I've spoken to one of the reps from BMW, there's no official word on that. In terms of a purchase price, again, no official pricing on that confirmed either. But being a BMW, I would expect the price for one of these just to be that little bit higher than the Royal Enfield and the CF Moto counterparts. I'd surmise that this would start with a 7. I think if it's anything above £8,000, I think BMW will struggle to shift it, just because there's so much competition in this area. But really is a great looking little piece of kit. I'll just bring you around this side so we can see the exhaust. Stunning bike, should be released late 2025 I'm told, and I'm certainly looking forward to having a test ride on one of these. Okay, so we find ourselves over at the Suzuki stand for the much awaited DRZ 400. So those of you that have been around motorcycling for a while will know that the DRZ certainly isn't a new name, and it's going to be really exciting to have a bike of this caliber back. So a lot of the bikes that you get on the trails now are kind of 250, 300cc. This being a 400 is just a little bit higher in capacity. So standing up position on this actually feels really nice, as you'd expect from this kind of bike. Just sitting down on the bike, I'm 5'7.5". The seat height on this is really tall. It's over 900 millimeters, actually 920. So for me personally, this isn't really going to be a bike I'm going to go for. But if you are in the market for an off-road that can do a little bit of green laning, and certainly you've got the the nostalgia factor with the DRZ coming back, this is going to be a really exciting proposition for you. Now there's no certified kind of price on this yet. That's to be confirmed. It'll be really exciting to see what that will be, and this bike should be coming to you in the early part of 2025. So we now find ourselves over on the BSA stand. Now this isn't a new bike for 2024-2025, but I want to bring you over here, have a look at this, because in a second we're going to go over and have a look at the Scrambler 650 as well. So this is kicking out 45 brake horsepower from a single cylinder engine. So a little bit comparable in a way to the Royal Enfield Interceptor. That bike of course is a twin. This being a single cylinder is going to give you a slightly different characteristic. You know, they say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but I personally think this is an absolutely cracking looking bike. And I'm actually potentially looking to trade the Triumph Street Triple in the not too distant future. And this is definitely a bike that I intend to test ride, and it's going to be on my shortlist. So now you've seen this, we'll go over and have a look at the Scrambler. Okay, so we find ourselves over with the Scrambler now. Absolutely stunning bike, brand new for the 2025 model year, and I'm sure you'll agree, a fantastic looking piece of kit. Now this again is going to be pushing out 45 brake horsepower from that same single cylinder engine, that you find on the Gold Star 650. Of course, Scrambler styling, you've got your handlebar brace here, you've got your bar end mirrors, and the tank and the exhaust, and you've got the panels on the side here that just look a little bit different. Now this bike is a little bit taller compared with the Gold Star, so this is actually sitting at 820 millimeters. And you can see here again, I'm 5'7.5". I can get my feet on the ground flat-footed, just about. The pegs are getting in the way just a tad though. So this is going to be a fairly heavy bike, and it's more going to be kind of style over substance. So if you're going to be doing a little bit of green laning, this probably isn't the bike to go for. But if you want a bit of a ride out to the cafes on a Sunday afternoon, this is definitely worth a look, and again, something I'm looking to test ride in early 2025. we finally get to see the CF Moto 450 MT in the flesh. Anybody that's been interested at all in this bike will know that they're extremely hard to come by in the UK. There's been 3 to 5 months waits for these, if not longer, so I'm really pleased to be able to see one in the flesh for the very first time. Now, this is a natural competitor, of course, to the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. So with this, again, we're looking at a 450cc, pushing out 42 brake horsepower. But the main difference between this bike and the Royal Enfield Himalayan is that this is a twin cylinder, whereas the Enfield is a single. Now, I haven't heard this bike going yet, but I've heard it's got a really nice exhaust note to it. So, in terms of the bike itself, I think you probably agree it looks absolutely fantastic. You can just see the engine down there. I'm just going to take you for a little bit of a closer look at the dash. So, full TFT on this, nice little screen at the front there that is fully adjustable. Now, in terms of the seat height on this, again, a little bit like the Royal Enfield, there's 2 adjustment options. So the first of which is 800mm, the second of which is 820. So if you're a little bit of a shorter rider or don't have quite as much experience, again, this is going to be a perfect bike for you, something to start on the trails with. You know, it's all well and good going out and taking a 12 or 1300 GS on the trails, but certainly for newer riders, it's definitely not the most confidence-inspiring thing. Now, in terms of the seat on this, I've only had a very brief sit on it, but really comfortable, and I can just about touch my feet on the floor on this, which again is going to inspire confidence on the trails. This isn't a bike that I've necessarily had the chance to ride off-road yet, but is again another bike that I definitely want to ride in the early part of 2025. So, stunning looking piece of kit. Really intriguing, and it's been popular all day here at Motorcycle Live. I've had to wait till the very last knockings of the days to get some time with it, and as you can still see, she's still drawing a bit of a crowd, so cracking looking bike and one I can't wait to ride.